And welcome to PWR Weekly on a Tuesday edition. The man they call Meathead, brought to you by Linda Kay and Matthew Thomas. We're all brought together again this week. Linda Kay, how you doing this week?
Doing tremendous. Extended holiday break yesterday, and now back on that path to the Royal Rumble. Back on that path then to WrestleMania.
Fantastic. Matthew Thomas, I hear that you were down in Sweet Home, Alabama, was it? Or
No,
Sweet Home, Virginia?
I live in Alabama. I live in Virginia. Yes, I was exploring the great state, the great Commonwealth, rather, of Virginia for a few days, catching up with some people and exploring various attractions in the great state of Virginia. So, and I managed to catch all my flights on time, although I had two flights that would not let me go pee-pee.
What?
Southwest said it was too turbulent, and I got waved off as along with a lot of passengers in their attempt to make a break to the bathroom. So yeah, we almost had a bladder in a situation. Ever how many thousand feet you are in the sky when you fly?
That's weird because honestly, they should be doing like the adult diaper thing, or depends. But they what do astronauts do? What did that crazy chick do when she drove cross country to find somebody? She wore one of those adult diapers, just kept driving.
Honestly, though, like that could really save time. That could really make a drive a lot quicker because, you're driving across country. Yeah, you lose time stopping in a rest area. You got to get out, go to the bathroom, stretch your legs. You got to talk to the stranger at the rest area, and then you get indulged and engulfed in conversation. Yeah, I've a lot of time, travel time at rest areas.
I can confirm just how much time takes when you do stop just to run to the restroom, to grab a coffee, grab a snack. When you're on a roll and that GPS tells you a certain time, once you step out, even if you're there for like 5 minutes.
It tells you.
So
I will down like 15, 20 minutes.
I will elaborate on that a little bit. We fell victim
please do.
to some of the very misleading highway signs in the rural part of Virginia where it says gas next right, and you stop, and then you get to the end of the ramp, and then there's no sign from there, so you're having to guess if you're going to take a left or a right. Now, we got to the end of that ramp, and there was no sign to lead you to the gas, but there was a sign that said food to the left, so you think the gas is going to be with the food. However, there was no food to the left, and then GPS put us in a circle, so we lost about 30 minutes there on that little trek. But yeah.
Well, someday Virginia will join the Commonwealth of the United States of America, and maybe update their signs. But what doesn't need updating is the latest and greatest from Collar and Elbow. We're going to have Matthew Thomas tell us all about it.
Yeah, even if you've got a little bit older collar and elbow fashion, guess what? It's now retro and it's vintage and it's cool. So collar and elbow never goes out of fashion. Peruse their selection at collarandelbowbrand.com if you want to save a Linda K, LINDAKAY. Save yourself 10% off of your order and just fill up your closet.
Well, something that we don't want to stay in the closet for, Linda. Tell us about the wrestling insurance from Pro Wrestling Insurance.
That's right. I've got my ProWrestlingInsurance.com hoodie right here, if you can see it.
There you go.
There we go.
Put it on the glass.
Yes, as always. So, to make sure you are covered anytime, anywhere, 24/7, 365, make sure to go to ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Speak with our great friend, Chris. He can fill you in a bit more, but really, it comes down to having that extra supplemental coverage for as low as $8 a month. This little bit of coverage can make sure your, pardon my French, ass is covered. Should any injury happen to you, not just
where was that at the roller rink this last weekend?
Did you have your ProWrestlingInsurance.com? But you did. So you are covered, Meathead. For anybody wondering, Meathead had a little incident at the roller rink this past weekend. But that being said, make sure you are covered. You don't have to be a pro wrestler. It can be anybody you're affiliated with. This is insurance coverage, supplemental coverage for anybody, as low as $8 a month. And there's also event insurance available. If you're a promoter, if you're holding an event, make sure your ass, is covered as well. And lastly, life insurance availability as well through ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Visit ProWrestlingInsurance.com.
To be honest, I did see my life flash before my eyes when I laid the people's elbow on the parquet floor at the old roller rink there. I don't know if it was just the fact that I didn't tie up my skates tight enough, or honestly, maybe it was age. Maybe. I don't want to say it. Because it wasn't lack of skill, because I was out there moving. You know, they had some 70s disco music going on. They had the strobe light going on. I wore a fake afro. I mean, I was out there just kicking it, right? No, Meathead took a spill. So,
Well,
you know.
you had wrestling insurance, man. You'd have been taken care of. If my bladder burst from holding my pee for too long, then I would have gotten paid. You know, so like, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Hey, let's talk about win-win for Raw 30 coming up next. This is really the news that's going to be headlining the next week or so. Honestly, it's not the exact 30th anniversary, but I think they've done a great job of making this Raw 30 show the go home for Royal Rumble as well. Some of the names that are going to be showing up on the 30th anniversary of Raw. The Road Dogg works there. Ron Simmons, I believe, kind of works there, but doesn't work there.
Damn.
Damn. X-Pac, Ric Flair. Woo! Now let's pause on Ric Flair for a second. Ric Flair had been on the outs a little bit with WWE for a while. And remember, Ric Flair just worked a show opposite SummerSlam on the same weekend, you know, and had his quote unquote last match, even though he says he wants to do it again. So I don't know if there's bad feelings, good feelings, whatever. Ric Flair, you know, is all about a paycheck. So Ric Flair, Matthew Thomas, is going to be showing up to Raw 30.
I'm not sure what this Raw 30 you're talking about is, but I know next week they've got something called Raw is XXX. I mean, maybe Flair saw that and it's like, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, so maybe Flair had it misled to him. Rick, come on down, Nick your boy. It's going to be XXX. Woo! Linda Kay.
Oh, great to see him. I mean, obviously, Ric Flair, a huge part of Raw's historic past. I do want to say it was January 23rd, 1993. It's 20-something. It's either 23rd, 28th, 25, whatever.
It's close.
Yes. Right. I digress. But no, I think that's great. And to your point about the shows this past summer, I was there. I was in Nashville. I was at SummerSlam. And then the next night I was at Ric Flair's last match. So, you know, relationships can always be rehashed. And therefore, we will have Ric Flair at Raw is XXX this upcoming Monday.
You know, Raw XXX or Raw 30. Raw XXX will also have a player in the house. Holla, 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 holla. I wonder if they're going to do the old, you know, trope again of Teddy coming out and changing a Max to a 6-man tag or whatever.
Sure.
But
Undertaker.
You know, yeah, Mr. Undertaker, you're going to be in a 6-man tag. Holla, holla, holla. Yeah, with the Undertaker in the house, Jerry the King Lawler, who works there, and the Bella Twins, who probably will be promoting. What is that show that comes up after Raw now with
Barmageddon.
Yeah, Barmageddon. That's it.
There's also a special coming up. Nikki Bella Says I Do. It's a mini series on her wedding. I watched Total Divas and Total Bella, so I'll be tuning in. Just
you know what? The quasi-celebrity period in life, in our history, is that over yet? I mean, is it gone? Are we going to get past that? No, the Bellas are absolutely famous, but I'm talking about the reality TV series over and over and over and over. Matthew Thomas.
That's going to keep going.
It's called TikTok.
What is the TikTok that's been banned in Wisconsin? Is there a TikTok app that got banned in Wisconsin, like Governor Evers banned something?
Well, you can't have it on any government devices because of concern with like where the information is going. So,
well, you shouldn't be using any kind of media at all. I mean, there's proprietary information. I mean, that's just common sense. All right. So, Matthew Thomas, those are all the names that are announced. Any surprises that you can see maybe coming up for Raw XXX?
You mean outside of CM Punk?
Not going to be a CM Punk. Knock it off.
Yeah, I really don't know, because you made a good point. I mean, a lot of these people you do see fairly consistently anyway, because they have got jobs there. Man, it's been a while since WWE's rolled out Bret Hart. I think that would be a nice touch.
Okay. Bret Hart wouldn't be a surprise for us. We just seen Bret Hart, Bret Hart in October. Did you buy that at the show?
No. This was a gift last year, a Christmas gift from my beloved sister.
Your beloved sister, who was also the winner.
Yeah.
And we'll get into this. She was a winner of the yearly Matthew Thomas Award for a free spot in the Man They Call Meathead's Royal Rumble pool, which, you know, is ongoing now. But Linda Kay, almost said Linda Thomas. Linda Kay, any surprises coming up for Raw XXX?
I was thinking about that when Matthew mentioned Bret Hart. Let's see here. Vince McMahon
Oh,
coming out.
yeah.
Honestly, that's not a surprise and a huge surprise because Vince is persona non grata technically to the wrestling fan right now. Would they pop for him if he showed up at the arena? Absolutely.
If we're going to use Vince, here's what I would like to see. Give me a retro Raw feel. Give me Vince on commentary for one match.
I'd be
Him and
okay with
Lawler?
that.
It's not going to
Yeah.
happen, but I'd like to see.
Yeah.
That's gotta be Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You know what I want Vince to do, and this will never happen in his lifetime? I want Vince to apologize. Vince isn't an apologizing person. He's lived his life the way he wants, which is fine. Do what you do, but I want him to apologize. I want him to come out and say, I've made some mistakes in my life. For those, I'm truly sorry. But you, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then, go into some angle.
Yeah.
And then go into some angle. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but here we are. Hey, let's move into AEW. Actually, let's talk real quick about New Year's Evil. Did you guys watch this? Did you watch the main event? Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller! Matthew Thomas, Braun Breaker. He was not voted the PWI Rookie of the Year, I believe. I think it went to Hook. But Braun Breaker has been champion damn near his entire career.
The Breaker thing, it feels odd to me at this point because in a lot of ways, that whole NXT 2.0, it feels like it was a show for about a year designed for Breaker. You've got him in the opening segment. You've got the color scheme, almost the same thing as Breaker's color scheme.
Yeah.
Man, it feels a bit stale to me at this point. I don't know necessarily if that means he needs to move to the main roster or what, but here's my take on it. The NXT, the NXT arena is a little bit more kind of insulated from a lot of the stuff we see in the main roster as far as crowd response.
Yeah.
I got a feeling if this was happening on the main roster, we'd be getting a little bit of kind of a Roman Reigns circa 2015 from Breaker. Not anything against him, but I just feel like it's been a little bit of stagnant booking for about a year as far as Breaker's concerned. And I want to see him. I want to see him move on. I don't know necessarily what the direction is for, the next champion or Breaker. But I thought, when you had that shift back to a more, a less contemporary NXT and a more of the original feel, you might see him going in that direction a little bit more. But I don't know. I thought Waller might have been the one to do it, not the case. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we get. And if we see, I could also see in the next couple of weeks, maybe them hot-shotting that belt off of Breaker and him transitioning to the main roster.
Whoa, wait a minute. Linda Kay, if they do that to Breaker, does that mean he's got a fans only page that he's posting new pictures on as well? Is that what they're going to do?
No. Wait, if he gets pulled up, that means he did not have, or it's not only fan time. That's the one.
Fan time, fan only. The only shirt that I wear that looks anything close to that is only Marks, and I've got one from Collar and Elbow.
Meathead, he's going to show you the real meaning of a Steiner recliner.
But Linda Kay, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
So with Braun Breaker, is it that we need to send more competitors, more challengers down to NXT for him to freshen it up? Or does he need to come up to the Raw roster or SmackDown roster to freshen up the look around Braun Breaker?
I would say more of the latter. We've gotten tons of great opponents for him within NXT 2.0, within NXT UK, within the main roster, most recently, Apollo Crews. Having a feud there with, or not really a feud, but it was more like a sportsmanship because they were both buddies. There was a segment about them fishing on that boat. Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah. So, I think as a refresh, I think the next NXT pay-per-view, Vengeance Day, that's coming up. Perhaps it's time to pull that and bring Braun Breaker up to the main roster, or pull the title from him and have him have a new feud, make him, have it not go as low as what Austin Theory endured as far as losing his title, but just a little refresh like that. If you're going to keep Braun Breaker down at NXT, that's the way I would go. And I bring up when you mentioned how the finish of that match with Waller and with Breaker. It wasn't Braun that broke those ropes, but the ropes did break, and I messed up my joke. I was going to say Breaker did break them ropes, but that didn't happen. Anyways, I think this can continue with Grayson Waller. I think that having it on Grayson Waller would be a good transition for the title right now. He is very well booed. I don't want to say well hated because I think the crowd does like him, but he is strongly booed. Let's put this strap on. Strap onto a heel right now. And Grayson Waller, man, he can talk, and having the Grayson Waller effect and the way he utilizes the phone on Instagram Live during the segments, I think he'd be a great star right now to put the NXT title on just for a little change. I think that can happen possibly at Vengeance Day because that match ended on a rope break. Like, that's, there's going to be something more with that.
All right, now let's transition over into Dynamite. Dynamite came from LA. The best of 7 series was going to have a conclusion. I think it was always going to be Kenny Omega and the Elites. Basically a reset to get them back to trios belts that they had won, then had stripped from them after the CM Punk incident. But what a main event it was. It was the Death Triangle and the Elite, Linda Kay. I'm not... You know what? I feel like Damian Nelson right now. And sorry to name drop there. But Damian, when he did the Dynamite reviews of me, used to always say, I don't get the Elite. I don't get the Young Bucks. Because they wrestle that new style that's, 1,000 chops, 1,000 super kicks, and no selling. This match was full of a ton of no selling again. Kenny had that huge spot happen to him. That dude was up in 2 minutes. But here we are. Kenny Omega, the Elite, are now trios champions.
Yeah, as far as the no selling, I mean, I think within AEW we've been getting that a lot, and then in particular within this best of 7 series, I am going to be disappointed not hearing that John Tesh NBN NBC music anymore, though, unless they find a way to bring that back. But I think that's expected within their matches with the Elite and with Death Triangle and a ton of the other talents there at AEW.
Yeah,
especially. It's come to the point where a lot of times, we have shenanigans with tables and weapons. Is that what it'll take to put someone really down and out? However, with this best of 7 series, I truly enjoyed it. I didn't think too much about that just because it's so much fast movement, fast paced between both trios there that I just kind of took a step back from thinking about that and just kind of just watched and expected what's going to top this next, what are they going to jump off next, what are they going to hit them off next, what's the next stipulation. I did like how they added something different for the rest of the matches there. I did enjoy it. I do have the Elite on Team Long Time as well.
Unfortunately, it was no points for you.
I know, but we'll see. However, I definitely enjoyed this best of 7. If I don't think they should do one anytime soon. Let's let this sit on how well this was.
Yeah.
And let's move on, because at this point you got to have a different trios to compete for that title since the Elite. But that being said, yeah, a lot of the no-sells, but I just expected that within this match and just within AEW as a whole.
So the Elite are technically, I mean, granted, these are both fan favorite teams, right, Matthew? But the Elite, I think, were positioned in this match to be the fan favorites. Is there any residual effect from what went down at All Out with the CM Punk stuff? Obviously, if they go to Chicago, they're getting booed out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
But Matthew, if the Elite are the fan favorites, who's their next opponent? I mean, where are they going to head to? It's Full Gear in March, right?
I think next opponent's
Revolution.
Revolution, thank you.
Oh, sorry, Matthew.
No, I think House of Black is next, and you're right. I mean, this has been a little bit of a reset with the Elite, because I think there's a feeling out there that after the Punk stuff went on, that Omega, the Bucks, they are the AEW guys. There's a little bit of a perception Punk was the guy that came in, kind of was the disruptor. And at the end of the day, these guys have been there since the beginning. I think it's a similar feeling to the way you have a lot of people feeling about Moxley now, that this is a guy that put the company on, his back.
Yeah, he could be the WWE guy. Remember, he was a WWE champion, but really, he's an AEW guy.
Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be fishing. He was supposed to join Braun Breaker at Apollo Crews on that fishing trip.
Apollo!
But yet, so little behind the scenes.
Every time that's getting yelled, that's actually Moxley going, "Come back, Apollo!"
So at the Denver show, Moxley was out there between both shows like 3 times, and then everybody's getting ready to leave, and then his music comes on again, and he basically tells everybody the weather's rough out there. Be careful. If you've been drinking, please get an Uber. Good night. So John Moxley looking out for your well-being as well.
I mean,
like
John Moxley, instead of Punk giving out ice cream bars, John Moxley should go rent a fleet of vans.
He's like I'm just hearing this, like the John Cena. I mean, it's usually
Yeah.
Cena when he was on full time making these announcements, coming back.
Yeah.
Between tapings and well, as Vinny, I mean, Moxley, huge part of AEW and just keeping things moving along, literally. Awesome.
As we were talking, and I kind of this point faded and it just came back again. Let me ask you this question: is AEW really the American version of New Japan Pro Wrestling? I mean, because New Japan Pro Wrestling with all the super kicks and the no cells and all that. When we watch AEW, is that really all that is?
I think it depends on the match. I think there are people that, a Bucks Omega type of deal. You get it more on, you get it more there than you do with, say, the WWE product. I think it still differentiates, based on who you're watching. Now, there are people that don't necessarily wrestle that style that I think do have more of a tendency to do it in AEW, i.e. like a Bryan Danielson, that type of thing. So you've got people that do kind of open up a little bit more, to that with the multitude of chops and
sure. Because the chops and the super kicks. You know what we don't get though? The internet really spoke loud and clear. Tope suicidas are not as prevalent anymore.
Very true.
All right. Let's talk about some of the matches here. This was a big one, and it started off. It was Hangman Adam Page and John Moxley. The winner of the match, Adam. The winner of the match, Matthew, was Hangman Adam Page clean over Moxley. Baby.
Yeah, big win for Hangman here. And it's wild when you look at all the Moxley matches that do have blood. I felt like this one with the story they were telling with the feud and the brawl could actually have been well served with a little bit of color. We didn't get that, probably because we would have something with a whole lot of color to end the Rampage take. But still, just a straightforward, win by Hangman here.
Yeah, absolutely. Linda Kay, I led with it at the end of that little Page and Moxley thing, baby, and we had a return because it's all about the boom. Did you know that Adam was showing up again? Adam Cole, baby.
No, this was an actual legit surprise and pop that I had in my own living room, because usually, like, if I can't catch it live, there's always gonna be something that spoiled it. But it didn't. This one, I legit, like, I heard, yeah, no, it's all. I was like, ah. So
yeah.
You kind of forget about, when Adam Cole, baby, and his strong reign there at AEW. God, that his comeback would be anytime soon. So that was great to see. He's definitely going to be within that AEW title mix. Pretty much laid it out right there. So that was cool to see. But also great. I think Hangman needed that win over Moxley. Nice clean win. We have Revolution coming up with Adam Cole,
First
baby,
week of
now
March.
in the mix.
Yep. Hey, I got a question for both of you guys. Linda, you can start it off. When did W. Morrissey change over to Big Bill?
It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Just out of the blue.
Why?
I don't know. That's just what they started calling him. So yeah, he is Big Bill.
Well, it was the match Jungle Boy Jack Perry and FTW champion Hook taking on the Firm, Big Bill and Lee Moriarty with Stokely Hathaway. And you know what? Hook, what kind of suplex did he have on him? I know he had was it a cradle suplex, but he took him over. Little Hook took over Big Bill.
Yeah, he does have a strong judo background, so
yeah.
I'm sure that comes into play there, as well as everything else. They even mentioned him being an intense lacrosse player. I don't know if you caught that on
Dude, I don't think he does anything not intense.
Yeah.
You know what? Domino's time, bitches.
But no, that was awesome to see. And Jungle Hook, I know they made it sound like it's a one-off, but I feel this could be something more. I mean, with the crowd response, but also I don't also want to see it just because I feel with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry being pulled away from the whole Jurassic Express.
Yep.
Thing, like, let's let him move along strong as a singles. As he's on that path, and let's keep him on his own path. Just as with Hook, he's got that FTW title, but he's just he hasn't had a loss yet, right? We got to give him.
He's still, and he's the
program
rookie
here.
of the year for 2022. Matthew Thomas, let me mention this to you, and let me get your opinions on this. I noticed that Hook seems to work better, obviously, by himself, right? In this tag match, it looked like he didn't know what to do in some spots. Like, should he be in the ring, out of the ring? Matthew, your thoughts on should Hook continue to be in tags, or should he stay singles?
Here's what I want to do. I want to see him go in a separate direction, and I want to see them kind of allude to it a little bit. I want to see the audience clamor for Jungle Hook. I think it's one of those things that you need to see that, all right, let's see if there's really some momentum there. I would prefer them going in separate directions because, at the end of the day, it's not an official title, but Hook does have a belt, so you throw that in the tag team and then you've got, a little bit of that, taken away. But especially the interaction we saw with him and Big Bill, I think there's really there's a good David and Goliath story to be told with Hook in general. So, no, I mean, you look at Hook and you look at, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, you've got 2 stars, but I think that this is one of the things with AEW. You have got a huge roster and you've basically got 3 hours of proper TV time each week. So I think you might be in a situation right now where AEW, in order to get people on TV, you might kind of have a little bit more of this thrown together stuff. I think it's kind of what you got with Joe and Wardlow before the breakup. I think you've got a little bit more propensity to do this. I think it's one of the reasons why you've got so many stables in AEW. A lot of people said, oh, this looks like a really, really good setup. Go to AEW. And then that TV time and that potential for exposure, I don't think is there like a lot of people thought it would be. When you've kind of got this idea of inflated TV time with the YouTube shows, and I haven't seen any hard and fast numbers on those in a while, but I just don't feel like in a lot of cases, I don't feel like they're doing much other than kind of inflating these win-loss records.
Yeah. By the way, it was a T-bone that Hook took Big Bill over with. So he hit the Northern Lights on Lee Moriarty, then hit him with a T-bone on Big Bill. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, took on Takeshita. MJF interrupts. They're building towards Revolution in March. You know what? There was talk in the AEW Women's Tag Team match with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker that Saraya was going to have possibly Mercedes Monet. It ended up being Toni Storm. Solid match again, Matthew, and I had no problem with this whatsoever. However, she just slides the candlestick into the ring. Baker grabs it instead and whacks Storm in the back.
Yeah, it was what it was, and kind of back to what we said. I mean, it was a spot where you could feature 5 of the women, and still, I think, what is a largely underserved division, with AEW.
The Jericho Appreciation Society. You know what? They don't feature him enough, but Jake Hager saying the same thing over and over. I like my face, and my face is my face. He's almost going into the Scott Steiner world right there, where he's saying dumb stuff on purpose, but it's actually pretty entertaining.
Linda Kay, I'm gonna rip your face right off your face.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Linda Kay, your thoughts on the entire Jericho Appreciation Society? How bloated they look as well.
Oh, what do they look?
Bloated. How big the group is.
Oh,
they're retaining water, Linda.
Yeah, I mean, because you get, Matt Menard saying, "Do you want to know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard?"
Yes, that too. No, I think it was great. I think their attempt at that spin around the same time, whatever. It was fun to see them do that because I love when they all come out in the matching outfits, do their spin, come on out.
They need to show Jade Cargill and the baddies how to get that done.
So Jake Hager, love him. Think he's great. I the whole purple hat thing was funny, but also just the rip your face off your face. Was that intentional or no? Because
I think it was a mess up, honestly, but it was pretty damn funny.
Because then you see Jericho be like, "Yeah." They are sports entertainers or sports entertainers
sports entertainers.
Yeah. So no, I enjoyed it. I like it. I think that they can keep rolling with the whole sports entertainer aspect, and very entertaining. It should be interesting, this match. Let's get some more Jake Hager in the ring. I don't know how much time he's obligated with an MMA stuff right now, but I've enjoyed.
How many fights has he had? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, granted, it's training, but
Yeah. But no, I like this. The whole purple hat thing. It's working.
All right, we're gonna go right into Rampage, and then we'll get to SmackDown in a second. Normally, we like to go chronological here. The show starts off with Darby Allin and Juice Robinson. I like Juice Robinson a lot. Great match. Darby Allin still wins. Sting says, "Hey, I'm out here now. You won. Great job. Welcome to the show." The tag team champions, the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, with Daddy Ass, got their legacy cemented in Hollywood on the Walk of Fame. Linda, the Ass Boys, Colton and Austin interrupt.
Seen a lot of de-pantsing within wrestling. I mean, I was involved in a segment of de-pantsing at OVW.
Linda,
before the Rumble, it was
before the cameras were on. What happened there?
No, it was that arm wrestling segment that I was in where we had Adam Revolver he's aligned with Shannon the Dude, who I defeated in my arm wrestling. Right. By the way, he got de-pants. So then seeing this de-pantsing, let's keep rolling with it, I suppose. Big part of pro wrestling nowadays. That being said, I think that was hilarious that it was their butts that into the cemented, and I don't know, it was very entertaining. I did enjoy that, but
it's like the end of a hot dog.
But I also enjoyed not Colton, Austin Gunn saying something like, "You guys are only famous because you stole our father from us."
And, you stole our father.
Yeah, I do want to see something more of a feud between the two of them. Let's keep this going. I don't know if the whole thing with the Gun Club and FTR is still a thing right now, but I want to see something more with the Acclaimed and with the Guns. Like, if there's an obvious reason why there should be a feud right there, Daddy.
Yeah.
So very entertaining. Let's keep it rolling.
Matthew, your thoughts on the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi Black, with Julia and Buddy Matthews taking on Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. We got shenanigans here.
Yeah. I'm good. Glad to see Kingston featured in something that seems like he's kind of been off of our TV for a while. But yeah, I think really with the House of Black here, you've got the next people to get those trios titles. So yeah, just a group of people. All of these people are I'd like to see featured more regularly on my TV.
Who's Walter Hauser?
Golden Globes winner, and from what I did not see. Well, actually, I did see a smidge of the Golden Globes because I happened to see part of Eddie Murphy's acceptance speech where he did reference the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock kind of thing. I guess it was funny about that. But anyways, I digress. From what I understand, he made a wrestling reference during his acceptance speech and about get the tables, and it's made known now his love for pro wrestling. Honestly, I don't know the show he got the Golden Globe for, nor if he's done any other wrestling stuff other than knowing he's a huge wrestling
Was it
fan.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Because I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Here's the thing I will say about this guy. I think it's going back to Dynamite though. I want his Robert Duvall shirt. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I did.
He's got just this great collage of just various pictures of Robert Duvall. I've actually tried looking online for that. No luck as of yet, but my goodness, that's a fancy shirt.
Well, you know what? Jarrett grabs a guitar and smashes it over Hauser's head. Lethal took the Golden Globe, about to hit Danhausen with it. He should have got cursed, but obviously the best friends in Orange Cassidy come to the ring to even up the odds. Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt have stolen a Golden Globe.
Oh, that's great. I like this. Let's keep it going.
So main event, and I want to spend a minute on this, Matthew. You're going to start off.
Yeah.
It was Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale taking on the Jericho Appreciation Society's Anna J.A.S. and Ty Mello. I have to ask you this, and I mean this in all seriousness. Is enough? Because AEW seems to have a propensity, especially in the last year or so, of trying to push the envelope one step further. I understand the women are trying to get out there. They're trying to go out and show out. But I don't know that they have the reps and to be doing spots like that, because it was an awfully scary spot.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's okay. Ruby wearing her crimson mask. But the spot, Matthew, talk about it.
Yeah. No, and you knew that was most likely the way this was going when you saw them all come out dressed in white. And, the spot you're talking about, the table spot, where Anna Jay took a very, very vicious bump to the back of her head where basically her head hit the floor. There was nothing. And basically, I mean, it looks like that table was set up really, really short of what needed for the spot there.
Yeah.
And so basically, you have Willow with the power bomb, the bottom of her taking that spot on the table, and Anna Jay just really getting no protection there. But yeah, I mean, looking at this, and I don't know what the indie work of these women look like, but there's a good chance that this is the first time either one of them had ever had a spot like this.
Not only a spot like this, but a high profile spot like this.
Yeah. And I just don't know how you get the reps enough to make people feel comfortable with this. But no, you're exactly right. They're pushing the envelope. They're pushing the envelope with the women in a company where you basically get your one women segment of show. I think going back to, Rampage, you're not going to get it because it's an hour, but going back to Dynamite, you'd be hard pressed to find many shows where you have more than one women's wrestling match. And so I think you've got in a lot of cases like this, the women feeling like they need to go 0 to 60, really, really quick to get people talking about AEW women's wrestling, just because they are not getting that consistent exposure, like you see with your, with your WWE or your Impact. So yeah, I think this was another example of that. And it's so interesting because you are doing it on, you're doing it on a tape show. You're doing it on the show that, right now we have been conditioned to, Dynamite, I think is our A show. I don't think there's much question about that. And, being there a few weeks ago too, that last segment, you've got the crowd and stuff kind of being tired from, 3 to 4, 4.5, 5 hours of wrestling, so it's interesting that, you put it right there. And I think that I don't know how many people tuned into that really saying, I want to see a match with all these competitors just bleeding and taking dangerous spots. No, I just it's concerning. And I mean, it's got people talking, but I don't know if they're talking
for the right reasons. Right. No.
Yeah.
Linda K, it's like I said, I don't know if it's the reps, if it's the, fact that they're trying to push it. We talked a little bit off here, and I didn't know how to word it, but does AEW need somebody to step in the back office, into the producers area, into the, whatever their term is for agents or bookers or whatever? Do they need a female talent to be there, the ones that can help put these matches together? They've got a Mark Henry. They've got, I know D'Lo Brown's out there right now available. Maybe they bring in a D'Lo Brown, but who's working with the women on these matches and, working these, spots out?
I don't know personally for myself, but I mean, Madison Rain was brought in, I believe, to help at least coach. I mean, again, I'm just naming perhaps some other.
You're 100% right. There. That's why she's around. Right.
Serena Deeb.
She's a coach. Serena Deeb, absolutely.
She runs her own school and can give some more insight with that. I mean, they also have like Tony Storm, who's been in the game a long, long time, who has that veteran experience as well. I mean,
I would say Saraya.
Oh, I mean, Saraya.
Because Saraya's been in the business his entire life. We saw a movie about it, didn't we?
Yeah, but to that point, anybody that we've mentioned, have they done many of these street fights and whatnot? And to the point of this, I will say, perhaps there's something where they feel they need, some of the talents feel they need to step up to another level, or maybe, I don't know, are they advised to do this to this extent? We don't really know. However, I will say, growing up, the street fights didn't necessarily, need to go to that level. You just threw on some denim jeans.
Right. So you'd wear your dad jeans.
Pails and some this, some of that, some cheese graters perhaps, but
you wear your dad jeans and you put on your, Air Monarchs, and then you go to work.
Exactly. I think just for safety reasons, and again, I'm not there to, maybe the women are like, yes, we want to do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to step it up. It doesn't necessarily have to go that route of street fight per se. I mean, you can still have it be intense with some weaponry all around the ring without having to take such risks. That spot there with Anna, I did see her, try to protect her head and neck there a little bit, but, having her being powerbound from Willow, where basically Willow can't see. She's got Anna in her face, literally.
Right.
So she's going down blinded. So it would have, unless it landed perfect, it would have gotten one or the other of them pretty bad. And it looks like Anna obviously got the worst of it, but perhaps it could have been just some hard matting there, just a little something, just in case that didn't land. And just with Ruby and that spot. But yeah, we talked about this too. If you're going to do that gig, how brilliant inside the garbage pail. So it wasn't quite obvious that it was going to happen. But man, the element of surprise, that garbage coming off and you seeing that color. If they want to do it, hey, more power to them. But
I'm not comfortable watching it. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not, and you make the perfect word there. I'm not comfortable watching it. So, I mean, we just went through what we went through in the NFL game a couple of weeks ago, where we had the guy just literally collapse right on the field. I'm not comfortable with it. Thank you for entertaining me, but I'm not comfortable with it. Matthew Thomas?
A couple things here. I think that AEW is really trying to counter-program the WWE's women division when they just need to copy it for a while. WWE has a really good formula as far as...
How about some wrestling? How about that?
It's making those women's matches feel important, and you've got... It's not quite a 50-50 split, but WWE in recent years, man, have gotten really close to having a 50-50 split as far as women's matches and men's matches. It's not like that. I mean, AEW show is going to be 75 to 80% men's, the way we've got it right now. So you've got that going, and then you've just the other thing I want to throw out here is if you had to do this, if you wanted to do this, I think you put this on a pay-per-view show where you have people buying in, knowing what they're getting. When I see this or I see Moxley bleeding like crazy, the casual fan who's not even a casual fan, but just an average TV viewer who is scrolling through TBS or TNT at, albeit 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, I don't think you're going to bring any more people to the table with this. And I want to throw something else out there. I know here in Mountain Time, it airs live. So you've got people, and I throw this out there because I've seen it a couple times. You've got
eating stuffing, right?
Eating stuffing, or at the gym working out that has TNT on, a TV at, this would have aired around 8:45 Mountain Time, or you go to a Dynamite that's airing around 6 or 7. I think instead of bringing people in, that viewer who's scrolling through the channels, it's going to do.
What if it was one of those special, we're having hockey on tonight or basketball nonsense weekends, right? And they're at the Applebee's at the neighborhood bar and grill watching that while they're getting a bourbon steak.
Yeah.
Or cookies and cream. What's that damn song say? I'm on an Applebee's on a Wednesday or something like that. I don't know what the hell it is.
I like that song. Favorite song ever.
I don't. Let's move on to SmackDown live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Linda Kay, let's start with you and those amazing shoes that our boy Braun Strowman had on in the opening match.
Absolutely. It was brought to attention by Michael Cole that the shoes that Braun Strowman was wearing was in part made with the Green Bay Packers, and it was just a little tribute to a victim from the Waukesha parade, Little Jackson Sparks, who just for feedback. So I don't want to bring the show down for a minute, but during the sentencing for that crime, the mom was speaking on behalf of her son, and she mentioned things that he would never be able to do anymore. And he actually mentioned he'll never get to meet his idol, Braun Strowman. So I did bring that up to Dave, and I know that people did inform Adam about that. So he also obviously is. You can see it right there. He got the shoes made, and
we know that Braun will get something done.
Oh yeah,
we know he will.
Yeah. So that was great to see, and I will say, on the flip side, I thought that there would be some heel heat there about the Packers. Sorry, bring it up to me to not making the playoffs, but we didn't even get that. Like, I think maybe there's just the sentiment regarding maybe about the shoes and just that background.
Right.
But
you keep those two separate from each other.
Yeah. So that was really.
No, it was absolutely fantastic. And again, for folks that don't know, the Waukesha a couple of years ago had a person who drove through the parade, some issues, some injuries, I'd rather not get into it, but Braun Strowman from the greater Waukesha area, actually. So, Braun was at Blizzard Brawl. It was a week after. No, I mean, it was a week after it happened, right? When Braun was at Blizzard Brawl last year.
Yeah.
Not this last Blizzard Brawl, but
pretty much
the 2021.
After. Yeah.
So, Yeah, big deal. That's Braun had donated. I believe it was all the proceeds from his signings went literally to all the victims of the Waukesha Christmas parade. So big dues out of Braun Strowman. Again, we love him. Win, lose, draw. I mean, he's a big friend of Great Lakes Championship Wrestling now as well. So
Yeah.
and he was a fan. Literally, that's how we ended up meeting him. The guy literally was at one of the shows, Linda, in the back, just
It was,
watching the show.
and keep in mind, I had a match for that, and there's
Yeah.
footage. I see him sitting in the bleachers cheering and booing. I'm like,
Yeah.
is this really happening? Like,
Is it
holy
really
crap.
happening? Yeah. All right, let's talk about SmackDown. The opening match was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Braun Strowman and Walter. What a great matchup between two guys. You know, Braun's bigger, actually, than Walter. And we always think of Walter as this big dude. Braun's bigger. But you know what? Walter overcame and retained.
Absolutely. No, it's really good seeing these two match up. This is not a traditional Braun Strowman matchup. You've got Walter, who is going to be in the similar size that I think got much more of a technical match out of Braun than you traditionally get. So, I mean, as far as somebody that is, man, if we're talking about wrestler of the year for 2022, somebody that is a consistent much see regardless of who they're wrestling, it's
Gunther.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I kept saying Walter, but I'm going to say
Yeah.
Gunther now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch you said Walter.
And you've really ran the gauntlet with him. I mean, you go to his matches with Ricochet recently. You go to this guy just putting on an outstanding. I mean, both guys putting on a great show here. A really, really solid match. And man, this guy's title run has been really fun to watch.
And they've mixed them up too with big guys and little guys, big guys and little guys, because he's worked with Sheamus, he's worked with Shinsuke, he's worked with Ricochet, he's worked with Braun. I mean, what's left for Gunther now? Because he worked with Ray for a while. Yeah, Brock maybe next. Let's talk about Rey Mysterio, and he's fighting back against Karrion Kross, coming out in his best Hitman impersonation. Matthew, Karrion Kross putting Rey Mysterio to sleep.
Yeah. It's just a good feud for Karrion Kross. I mean, you've got a very well-established legend. I think that this is utilizing both people really well here.
Linda, Rey Mysterio, he said he was done with his family over on Raw, but he's still having issues, especially because Karrion Kross called out the fact that you were never there for him. Yeah. You're a bad daddy.
That's a way to loop in this feud with Karrion and with Ray. Him mentioning Dominic and Rhea showing up at the doorstep for just the disruption at Christmas this time as well. Mm-hmm. I think this is a great feud that can come about, and we got to see just a little bit of interaction there and what can happen. And I'm looking forward to this. Different styles, but we can see more of like some hard hitting submission stuff from Karrion, and then we got more of the high flying, fast paced style from Ray. So it should be a good contrast.
Contrast of styles, sure. But yes. Something I need a new name for in a contrast to names is the Banger Brothers. There is talk that the WWE is well aware of what they're implying when they call them the Banger Bros.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here? Drew McIntyre, not officially in the Brawling Brutes, but teaming up with Sheamus to be the Banger Bros. Linda, do you want to watch these guys bang all day long? I mean, because they kept banging Adam Pearce right in front of us.
Banger after banger after banger. Hey, we all have that funny ha-ha humor. Let's keep it. Let's do it. They're funny. I mean, you see them even like that bit they had when they were at the bar that they were at, whatever city it was, just back and forth bantering, a little slap in the chest here and there. They're hilarious, and we know they're like best friends in real life, or so that this is something. I mean, they've known each other for decades. I mean, because they came up in the European scene as well. So, Matthew Thomas, you're a big fan of the Banger Brothers, right?
Yeah. No, I'm ready for the T-shirts, and I think honestly, this is WWE's answer to the Acclaim. I think that's what they're doing here.
Okay.
And they got to they're not going to have a cool little handshake. Maybe it's like a fist bump or something, but I can see
they would have to bang their fists together.
Numerous times.
Like, bang me, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's where they're going.
All right. Well, there was some more banging backstage with Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair. They kept banging each other back and forth. And, Charlotte is the face, so she tried to walk off. So I love how she kept having her back turned to Sonya. And then Sonya would continue to attack her from behind, Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, no, this is it's good to see Charlotte back in a face role here, and I like seeing Sonya get some high profile time as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Linda, your thoughts on Charlotte and Sonya, and then I'm going to lead you right into Sammy, Kevin Owens, no contest, and the continued story of the Bloodline. But start us off with Sonya and Charlotte.
Yeah, we had to find somebody who could step up to Charlotte, given that quick victory she has against Ronda. I thought there'd be something more with Ronda right there, but apparently not, or at least not anytime soon. We've already got Sonya Deville inserted into this mix. I think this is another great opponent for Charlotte. I like how Sonya had the office, when she was an authoritative figure.
Sure.
That stuff with Adam Pearce as well coming into play. I think this is good, and having the backstage banging. Meaning like they're banging objects on one another and fists.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. It was good to really get things hyped because this is something that's kind of quickly coming together. I know they had that match, but still something continuing between the two of them.
All right. So the Bloodline, they kind of bookended the show, right? Sammy and Kevin Owens were going to have a one-on-one, and Sammy was told at the beginning of the show that he was not going to have any help from the Bloodline. Paul Heyman told him nobody's here, so he's got to do it for himself. We are starting to see the cracks. I really do think we're starting to see the cracks. We're starting to see the extra that they're going to do to help Sammy, which will in turn be how it cracks. We're seeing the beginning of the end, and I still don't want the movie to end, Linda Kay.
Yeah, but it's coming a lot more obvious than I thought it would. I felt like the Bloodline turning on Sammy would be something really unexpected, just out of nowhere. But we're getting it bit by bit, and we see it happening a little more, not easy or obvious, but just a lot more open to us than I thought it would be. But it's still entertaining, I'm still enjoying it.
I don't want the movie to end. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want it to be over. Matthew Thomas, this movie has been going on for a couple of years now, and we may be finally seeing the end of the end.
Yeah, I want the next act to be done with some very old school WWE/WWF booking, and I want to see somebody accidentally eliminate somebody from the Royal Rumble. I think that's just such a storyline, such a great next step. And then I believe Elimination Chamber this year is in Canada. So wherever we get, I think we get Sammy in a Sammy in a very, very high profile match.
Saved by face Kevin Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
Managed by face Bret Hart. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing out random Canadians out there now. Is Wayne Gretzky available?
Let's see who else. The members of the group, the band, they were Canadian.
Yeah, and then you can call Jim Carrey in. All right. Okay.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. That has been the week in review. Let's go over these rosters real quick. We're talking PWR Fantasy Draft. Those rosters will open up this coming Monday. Linda Kay, you've got Roman Reigns, Alexa Bliss, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, Gunther, Chris Jericho, Wardlow without his ponytail, Kevin Owens, The Elite, Braun Strowman, and Asuka. Matthew Thomas. Yes. Let's talk about RK Bro. Cody, who you think he just officially declared for the Rumble, you think might be the odds-on favorite for the Rumble. You also have the Usos, the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, the Brawlin' Brutes, Bray Wyatt. Sorry, M and Matthew, M Meat. Yeah. You've got Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles. Where the hell is AJ Styles at?
Hurt.
I feel like Matthew Thomas coming up this Monday is going to be making a lot of moves here.
Yeah.
Matthew, you also have Ronda Rousey, Austin Theory, Bayley, and Karrion Kross. Let's finish it off with the man they call Meat, the Judgment Day, Sami Zayn. So I've got SZ, and I think he's winning something. Something. He's winning something. I got Bobby Lashley, who's now the number 1 contender, and we'll take on Austin Theory at Raw XXX. I've got Jade Cargill, Jon Moxley, the Brawlin' Brutes, Claudio, Brock Lesnar, Liv Morgan, Jungle Boy, and Nikki Cross. Remember, folks, the PWR Fantasy Draft rosters lock at the conclusion of the Royal Rumble this next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. Stick around with us here at PWR Weekly for all the updates and all the details. But for Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, it's the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining us. So long, everyone.